People, what up? Welcome to my new video. Today I want to tell you 5 short stories about weird people that I've met at concerts. And by weird, I mean unfriendly, disrespectful, and people who wanted to punch me in the face for no reason. I'm not gonna tell them in any specific order. I didn't write anything down. I'll just tell what I can remember. And if you're interested in hearing those little stories, just stick with me and enjoy the video. The first story took place at the Nova Rock Festival in 2012. Some friends and I, we were at the stages and we were watching The Offspring and everything was fine, the weather was beautiful, and then there was this girl. She was standing right in front of one of my friends. She didn't really do much, except I almost fell down. Oh, I'm feeling dizzy, I need to stop. She was doing that for 1.5 hours. And that girl had very, very long hair. So she kept hitting my friend in the face with her long hair. And she didn't even notice that. Why did she do that? And how could she not notice that? And also, this move is nothing that you do at The Offspring concert. You shouldn't do that anyways, but especially not at a The Offspring concert. The second story also took place at the Nova Rock Festival, but in 2014. My boyfriend and I, we were at the David Hasselhoff show. Don't ask why we were at the David Hasselhoff show. We left after 1 or 2 songs because it was that bad. So he was performing as the late night act after the headliner, and before him there was a waiting time of, I don't know, 30 minutes or something. And so we were standing in the crowd and we were waiting for David Hasselhoff to enter the stage, and we could hear some guys talking, and it was something about that one of the guys pooped in his underwear. And then apparently another group of guys heard that conversation and they were like, What did you do? And then this first group of guys told the other group of guys that one of those guys had actually pooped in his underwear, and he said that he was going to throw that boxer shorts with his poop in it on stage as soon as David Hasselhoff is performing. And we couldn't believe it, and that group of guys also didn't believe it until that one guy who apparently pooped in his underwear pulled out I don't know, I don't know how I should explain that. David Hasselhoff eventually entered the stage, and yep, maybe 30 seconds later, that one guy threw his underwear with apparently the poop inside on stage. It didn't hit David Hasselhoff, but it landed somewhere on stage, and maybe that was the moment where my boyfriend and I decided to just leave. Okay, the third story happened at the A Day to Remember concert in Vienna last year. My friends and I, we were standing in the crowd, we were enjoying the show, it was an amazing show. You know, the crowd moves and you end up standing next to people that you didn't stand next to before. Was that a correct sentence? I don't know. I need to take off that hoodie, it's way too hot. Okay, I'm back. So eventually I ended up standing behind 2 girls, and for some reason they were having a conversation while the band was playing. It was a little bit annoying, but I was like, okay, sure. If they want to have a very deep conversation while A Day to Remember is performing, go ahead. Just like, okay, fine. And I did the things that you usually do at a concert. I was singing along to the songs, I was jumping, I was screaming, you know, I was just rocking out, enjoying the show. Suddenly, that one girl turned around and screamed at me, which means, be quiet! I was very surprised, but I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave her be and I will just keep doing the things that I'm doing because I'm at the rock concert. So I kept doing the things that I was doing, and suddenly she turned around again and she was like, I think our shit, which means like, shut your mouth. Then I got a little bit upset, and then I told her, why do you tell me to shut my mouth, or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. And then she didn't say anything to me again, and she was just talking to her friend again, and I could clearly see that they were talking about me, because they kept looking to me, and then they were talking again, and then they looked at me again, and then they were talking again, and doing like these very annoyed faces, and so that was really annoying. But do you know what I do when I meet people like that at concerts that are not okay with me rocking out? I just rock out more. So I jumped higher than before, I sang louder than before, I screamed more than before, and maybe it was not the right thing to do in that situation, but then my friend and we started jumping like very crazily. I mean, mosh pits are a thing. This is what you do at a Day to Remember concert, right? Story number 4 also happened at Nova Rock Festival in 2017, so last year, and Green Day was headlining the show. And everybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Green Day fan. I've been a Green Day fan since I was 7, and that's not a joke. I was like that tiny, and I listened to a punk rock band which uses swear words, which might be the reason why I was such a badass kid and teenager. No, that's not true, because I wasn't actually. I was just always trying to be. Back to the story. Green Day was playing at Nova Rock Festival, and I had a very good spot. I was standing in the second row, and in front of me there were 2 girls, and then on the right side of me there was a guy. And what was pretty annoying from the beginning of the show was that he filmed everything from the very first second. And I'm a person, I don't really film that much at concerts. I usually take a few pictures and maybe 1 or 2 videos, but that's usually it. So I don't really understand it when people film the whole show. But okay, if he wants to do that, fine. I will not say anything, because he should do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't bother me. And then that was the case. He was always pushing forward to the 2 girls, and I think it hurt them because he kept pushing them, and they were standing right at the barrier, I think the name is. They were really annoyed by him, and they asked him to please stop pushing. He didn't stop, he just kept pushing, even though he had such a good spot, like second row. Who would complain about that? And also he had his camera in his right hand, and he kept holding it up, and you know, after a while your arm starts hurting as well if you hold a camera, or just if you hold your arm up like that the whole time. So he was using the girls as his tripod, kind of. He kept laying his arms on their shoulders, on their heads. I was really annoyed as well, because I felt sorry for the girls, and they kept asking him to stop because there was so much going on. I also asked him to please stop, and I was like, hey, can you please just, I don't know, put your camera down, put your arm down, stop bothering these girls. They just want to enjoy the show. I just want to enjoy the show, and I can't enjoy the show if there's so much happening right next to me. And he listened to me, but he didn't change anything. So he kept filming. I just don't understand that. And kept pushing and putting his camera in his hand on the girls' heads. Why would you do that? So after a while, they kind of freaked out, which I can totally understand. And because asking him to stop did not help, they tried to push him back. But the more they pushed back, he was pushing forward. And then I asked him again to please stop. And then it was the moment where I started to get so annoyed, because then he kind of made fun of the band. We all tried to have fun. We were singing along to the songs, and then he was singing along to the songs as well, but like he was purposely singing the lyrics wrong and badly just so he could annoy everyone around him. I don't know how I can explain that, and I don't know if you understand what I mean, but as children, when you fight with somebody and then the one person says, be quiet, and then the other one is like, be quiet. it was like that, just that he did that with the band's lyrics. Then after a while, there was a guy standing on the other side of him, so I was standing on the left side of him, and then there was this guy standing on the right side of him, and he also noticed that he was pushing and he was annoying us and he was using the girls as tripods. So eventually the guy stepped in and just kind of pulled him back, and then the guy was standing behind those girls and next to me or something, so that the annoying guy was standing somewhere in the back and could not bother us anymore. And to this day, I'm so thankful that eventually this guy stepped in and helped us, because no matter what we did, he just wouldn't stop. Okay, story number 5, and also the last story, happened just 5 days ago at the 30 Seconds to Mars concert. And I was so excited for the concert, and as I've said in my previous video, I've seen the band live I think 4 or 5 times. So I kind of knew what would expect me, and I was very excited to hear the new songs. When my friend and I got there, it was a little bit weird because there were so many old people, and I don't care if there are many old people going to a concert, because why the fuck not? I will do that when I'm 80. I will still go to concerts if I can. Then the show started, and usually at concerts, as soon as the band starts playing, all the people keep pushing forward, and if there's thousands of people pushing forward, you kind of have to go with it. Even though it's very uncomfortable, it's always a good way to get a little bit closer to the stage. But this time the band started playing and everybody just remained at their spot, which was totally fine. But we noticed that there is a lot of space between those people, so we could just more or less easily walk a little closer to the stage without pushing anyone away. So we did that, and then we noticed that we couldn't really get any closer to the stage, but we had pretty good spots, so we were like, okay, fine, let's just stay here. And then I saw this old woman standing right next to me. Out of the corner of my eye, I just see her losing her shit. I didn't even touch her, like I was just standing right next to her, and she was just losing it completely. And I didn't hear what she said because the band was already playing, but I could just see her doing that. But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna start fighting with her because I didn't do anything wrong, and 30 Seconds to Mars is playing. I don't want to get in a fight right now, so I just ignored her. But as I was enjoying the show, I noticed that she was still doing this. As I said, I didn't want to fight with her for something that I didn't do, so I just kept ignoring her. And suddenly she punched me with her fist on my arm, and it didn't really hurt or anything, but when that happened, I was so shocked kind of that I didn't say anything to her. I just tried to let it go and enjoy the show. Oh, that was a rhyme. Thinking about that now that's insane, isn't it? And also because she was like, I don't know, 45, 50, 55. Violence is never an option, but at that age, punching younger people is so not acceptable. I'm still very confused about that person. I kind of want to know what was going on in her head, because I just don't know what I did wrong. But well, I guess we will never know. Alright, that was it. Even though no one ever answers the questions that I ask you at the end of each of my videos, I will just still stick to them. And my question for you today is, have you ever experienced something like that? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very excited to read your stories if you have any. If not, feel free to leave any other comment that you want to share with the world. Also, I have a lot more stories like that about bad encounters at concerts, but also about good ones. So if you want to see that or see more of me in general, you can click subscribe here. I will try to make videos as often as I can. It's just very stressful because I'm going to college, and yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that I have to do, but I'm trying my best to post videos regularly. So yeah, it would mean the world to me if you follow me on whatever happens in the future. If you like this video, you can give me a thumb up, and I'm very excited to see you soon in another video at another time. Goodbye!